Greetings, one and all. Glad you could make it. Let's talk about Star Trek Discovery, shall we? Where to begin? Well, let's start with what's good about the show. At this point, I suspect you thought I'd say there's nothing good, but you'd be wrong. Discovery has a 50-year legacy to contend with. Each subsequent iteration of Star Trek has had to decide what to maintain and what to discard from the original source material. Oh dear. Star Trek is a product of the 60s after all. This period continues to be an inspiration for many, but for many others, some of its artifacts have not well stood the test of time.
That the brown acid that is circulating around us is not specifically too good.
So what do you keep and what do you discard? First, there is the iconic design of the original Enterprise. Seems a bit small now, doesn't it? What to do? You give it a makeover, that's what you do. Bigger, flashier, granted a tad monochrome except for the blue and gray. No more splashes of colored lights. All the familiar settings are there though. Besides the required circular bridge, there is a sick bay, engineering, crew quarters, mess hall, transporter room, and even a ready room from later series. It helps it feel like Star Trek. And what about the ship itself? Even after 50 years, the basic design is still being referenced, tweaked of course to reflect modern trends. Over the years, ships have tended to become flatter, but I quite like the results. Unlike the 2009 version, a stumpy little thing, the minivan of starships. The uniforms are nicely done, if difficult to tell department and rank apart, totally unflattering to those except with the slimmest of figures. You know who I'm talking about. The costume designers do have a thing for gold, though. Lots and lots of gold. Hey, don't look at me. I'm wearing a cheap knockoff. So all in all, the show looks good. Now's the time to get into some of the other aspects that don't completely work, and those that do. No one thing is 100% awful, sort of, mostly. Set roughly 10 years before the original series, it fits unevenly into continuity. I'm not that much of a purist to demand rigid adherence to the dreaded canon, but the creators will be hard-pressed to even make the two shows approximately line up. Differences in technology were to be expected given the show is produced in the early 21st century. There have been several elements of TOS used. Harry Mudd was a ridiculous waste of time, having very little to do with the 60s version. Sarek comes across as much more scheming, a trait given to Vulcans beginning with the Enterprise series. Okay, fine. But oh my god, what they've done to the Klingons. Yes, the Klingons did get an upgrade in appearance as they passed into the movies and subsequent series, but their character developed slowly over time, mostly in Next Generation. Now they are reduced to near cartoonish caricatures. I'm uncertain what the motivation was behind the new clown makeup. As introduced in Season 1 of TOS, it seems the conflict with the Klingons was just beginning, not another stage in a war the Klingons almost won. Let's be honest, Star Trek Discovery is a war show. There are passing references to Federation ideals, but its main thrust is violence, battles, and subterfuge. I am angered that I find myself enjoying each episode. They are well made. I am not left uplifted and hopeful, though. More damn, that was depressing. Gone are stories of brave new worlds, replaced with a show that on the surface tries to be epic in scale, but in reality feels rather small. Most of the episodes take place in the same ship sets. We rarely get any time away from them. Clumsy attempts at edginess, through the use of Klingon nudity and four-letter words, come across as juvenile. Some hints at social commentary survive, mainly at what seems to be jabs at the current American leadership. The unfortunate sexual chauvinist attitudes of the 1960s are gone, replaced with women in positions of power, without heavy-handed references to this in the script. One glaring misstep is after finally introducing a gay relationship in Star Trek, they kill off one of the couple in an unnecessary move that is a throwback to the old "the gay character must die" cliché. I see no reason why they did this. Probably the worst choice by the writers yet. As for the story, plot elements are stretched for weeks on end, relying on twists and surprises that most could see coming a mile away. It becomes a parlor game for the viewers, Star Trek Clue. Any real surprises come from characters doing remarkably stupid things or making dubious choices. The main offender here is Michael Burnham. Let's just see what she's been up to, shall we? Oh, okay. Oh. Oh. Really? Oh dear. She's an interesting character, no doubt, but oh my god is she trouble. Every so episodes she screws things up, then saves the day so everyone on the bridge nods and smiles afterwards. Having Saru going from hating her to calling her friend is a bit stretched and was not really earned. She had a growing rapport with Captain Lorca, but of course instead of having him develop with some nuance, they made him turn out to be a mustache-twirling villain. Oddly, the series did pick up in the Mirror Universe, with an episode focusing around his attempted coup being a standout. The plot element involving the destruction of all life, in all universes, was a tad over the top, though. I lamented early on the quick departure of Michelle Yeoh. It's really good to have her back. And a quick hats off to Tilly. They dialed her annoyance factor back from her early appearances, and now she's an enjoyable character. If only because she's one of the few who isn't a total psychotic. That and she aided in an engine powered by mushrooms. We've all been there. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. For all my complaining, I'm actually glad there is new Star Trek to watch, and I'm sure you are too. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Cheers.